Hello everyone, myself Purnima, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. As a part of today's lecture, I will be delivering the lecture on the machine learning, that is a part of the 7th semester subject. And this video is being recorded for the learning management system under the Department of Collegiate and the Technical Education. This is the third session that I am delivering. So in the first two sessions we have seen some of the concepts from the module 4, that is a Bayesian learning. So let's continue with the next contents. So these are the contents that I am going to deliver today. One is maximum likelihood and least squared error hypothesis. So in that case we'll check the probability densities and we'll try to understand the maximum likelihood hypothesis for predicting the probabilities. So to understand this session, I suggest you to go through the first two sessions, session 1 and the session 2, so it will be easy for you to understand this session. So as we have illustrated in the previous session, the Bayesian analysis can sometimes be used to show that the particular learning algorithm outputs the map hypothesis. This we have made the conclusion when we have taken Finday's algorithm into consideration. Okay, so these map hypothesis, even though it may not explicitly use the Bayes rule or calculating the probabilities in any form. So in this particular section, we will be considering the problem of a continuous valued target function, which is the problem faced by the many learning approaches such as the neural networks, linear regression, and the polynomial curve fitting. And if we recall, in the second module for the decision tree, we have constructed the tree for the discrete valued attributes. But there are some learning problems which will have the continuous valued attributes. In such cases, a decision tree has failed in constructing the tree. So in that cases, we can go for the Bayesian learning methods. Straightforward Bayesian analysis will show that under certain assumptions, any learning algorithm that minimizes the squared error between the output hypothesis predictions and the training data will obviously output a maximum likelihood hypothesis. This is a statement that we need to understand. The analysis, I am going to repeat it again. The Bayesian analysis in this particular section will show us that under a certain assumptions, we take up any learning algorithms which tries to minimize the squared error between the hypothesis predictions and the training data will surely output a maximum likelihood hypothesis. Okay, so the significance of this result is that it provides a Bayesian justification for many neural network and other curve fitting methods that attempt to minimize the sum of squared errors over the training data. So this is the sum of squared errors has already we have seen in case of third module, that is the artificial neural network. So that was the main problem for us to reduce the squared error so that we get the correct hypothesis. So to understand this, let's consider the following the problem settings. The first one says that the learner L considers an instance space X and a hypothesis space H, and this hypothesis H contains what? A real valued functions which are defined over the X. Okay, so the problem faced by L, that is the learner. Okay, so the problem faced by the learner L is to learn an unknown target function. Okay, the unknown target function is given as X implies R. R is nothing but it is a set of the real numbers, and these are drawn from the H. Okay, and a set of M training examples is provided. So in this, the target value of each example is corrupted by the random noise drawn according to the normal probability distribution. Okay, so more precisely we can say that each training example, it is a pair of the form xi comma di, where di is equals to f of xi plus ei, and we know that here the f of xi is a noise free value of the target function. F is actually a target function, but in this case we say it is a noise free value for the target function, and ei is a random variable representing the noise. E is the error, f is the target function, and given this, it is assumed that the values of the ei are drawn independently and that they are distributed according to the normal distribution with the zero mean. In this case, what is the task of a learner is that it has to output a maximum likelihood hypothesis and a map hypothesis So this is a normal distribution, as we said. It is also called as the Gaussian distribution. It is a smooth bell-shaped distribution. Okay, and the formula is given as 1 by square root of 2 pi the standard deviation. Sigma is the standard deviation and micro is the mean. Okay, so given this, what we can do is, with the all these background informations, the maximum likelihood we can set it for our problem. Okay, so let's show this by deriving the maximum likelihood hypothesis, starting with the equation. So that is the maximum likelihood hypothesis. This already we have seen in the previous the first session. Okay, in the first session we have arrived at the equation HML, the maximum likelihood hypothesis. Okay, which is just given as probability of D given H. Now you can notice, so we are using a small p. Okay, so lowercase p because it gives us the probability density function. Okay, with this what we can do is, before we assume a fixed set of training examples, we assume set of training examples, and therefore we can consider the data D to be the corresponding sequence of target values. Okay, so here in this case already, as I showed you, the DI. Okay, yeah, so DI is equals to f of xi plus ei. Okay, so with this assumptions, and we assume that the training examples are mutually independent given H, so we can write the probability of D given H as the product of various, okay, as the product of various probability of sorry, this is a small p, so small p you have to refer this as the density, probability density function. It is the product of the probability density function of the Di given H. Given that when you have this, one more you have to assume here is, given that the noise Ei obeys a normal distribution with zero mean and unknown variance, that is the sigma square, we can conclude that each di must also obey a normal distribution with sigma square centered around the true target value f of xi. We take it this rather than the 0. Okay, so therefore the probability density, okay, can be written as a normal distribution with variance sigma square and mean micro is equals to f of xi. So with all this, we write the formula for this normal distribution as shown here. Okay, so the above can be written as argument max product of 1 by square root of 2 pi sigma square, and E error in this case we write it as 1 by 2 sigma square di minus micro the whole square. Okay, and now what we do is we apply a transformation, okay, that is common in maximum likelihood calculation. So why? Because rather than maximizing the above what we have seen just now, the complicated expression, we shall choose to maximize the algorithm, maximize its algorithm, which is less complicated. Okay, so this is justified because the lnp is a monotonic function of p, so therefore maximizing the lnp also maximizes the p. Okay, so the first term in this expression is a constant independent of h and can therefore be discarded. Okay, so after discarding you will get the final, okay, you will get one expression. Okay, and then maximizing this negative quantity. See, if you after removing this quantity, okay, so you have got the negative one, and this negative quantity is equivalent to minimizing the corresponding positive quantity. So that is why we'll remove the sign here, and finally we can again discard constants that are independent of h. Okay, so finally you will get the maximum likelihood hypothesis, so that is arg min. Okay, we are taking the minimum here instead of maximum, so summation I equals to 1 to m 1 divided by 2 sigma square di minus h of xi square. Okay, so thus this equation shows us that the maximum likelihood hypothesis, that is we use the notation HML, is the one that minimizes the sum of the squared errors between the observed training values and the hypothesis predictions. Okay, so this particular assumption holds that the observed training values di, they are generated by adding the random noise to the true target value. Okay, so whereas this random noise is drawn independently for each example from a normal distribution where the mean having a 0 value. Okay, so with this we can conclude that, okay, the above derivation, that is di minus this di minus h of xi square, it follows directly from the exponent in the definition of the normal distribution. So similar other derivations can be performed starting with other assumed noise distributions that are producing the different results. Okay, so this is what is being given. Okay, the one question arises when we were studying about the normal distribution, when we were arriving at the maximum likelihood hypothesis, why it is reasonable to choose the normal distribution to characterize the noise. So one reason is that it allows for a mathematically straightforward analysis. Okay, this is the first reason, and second reason is that smooth bell-shaped distribution is a good approximation to many types of noise in the physical system. Okay, so because of these reasons, we say that we choose the normal distribution to characterize the noise. And the another one is minimizing the sum of squared errors is a common approach, especially in case of neural networks and curve fittings and other approaches that approximate the real valued functions. Okay, so with this we say that the normal distribution is a good to characterize the noise. So let's go to the next topic. It is on the maximum likelihood hypothesis for predicting the probabilities. If you consider in the previous problem, we determined that the maximum likelihood hypothesis is the one that minimizes the sum of squared errors over the training examples. But in this section, we will derive an analogous to a second setting that is common in neural network learnings. Okay, that is to learning to predict the probabilities. Okay, so for that, let's consider the setting in which we wish to learn a non-deterministic function f x gives us 0, 1, which has two discrete output values. For example, consider that the instance space X might represent medical patients, okay, in terms of their symptoms, and the target function f of x might be 1 if the patient survives the disease and 0 if not. Okay, so alternatively we can say that the x might represent loan applicants in terms of their past credit history, and f of x in this case might be 1 if the applicant successfully repays their next loan, and 0 if not. If they pay, it is 1. If they do not pay, it is 0. So if you understand, if you look at these examples, in both of these cases we might expect f to be probabilistic. For example, among a collection of patients exhibiting the same set of observable symptoms, we might find that 92% will survive and 80% do not. So this unpredictability could arise from our inability to observe all the important distinguished features of the patients, or for some genuinely probabilistic mechanism in the evolution of the disease. So whatever is the source of the problem, the effect is that we have a target function f of x, so which outputs a probabilistic function of the input. So with these the problem settings, we wish to learn a neural network, okay, whose output is the probability that f of x is equals to 1. Okay, so in other words, we seek to learn the target function. Okay, in the same example, in the medical patient example itself, if you take up, if x is 1, if x is one of these indistinguishable patients of which 92% survive, then we say that f dash of x is equals to 0.92, whereas the probabilistic function f of x will be equal to 1 in 92% of the cases and equal to 0 in the remaining 8%. So with all these criterions, we will try to arrive the solution for the maximum likelihood hypothesis for predicting the probabilities. Okay, so let's recall that the maximum likelihood, the least squared error analysis of the previous section, what we have seen just now, we made the simple assumption that the instances were fixed, isn't it? Okay, so this helped us to characterize the data by considering only the target values. But though we could make a similar simplifying assumption in this case, but let us avoid it here in order to demonstrate that it has no impact on the final outcome. So since the fixed training instances do not have the impact on the final outcome, so let's not make this assumption in this case. thus treating both xi and di as a random variables. Okay, they are not fixed, they are in random variables, and assuming that each training example is drawn independently. So in that case, we can write the first step, we can write that. So probability of product of probability of xi comma di h. Okay, so it is reasonable to assume furthermore that the probability of encountering any particular instance xi, it is independent of hypothesis h. So to consider this, to better understand this, for example, the probability that our training set contains a particular patient xi is independent of our hypothesis about survival rates. Okay, the next is independent of h. We can rewrite the above expression, okay, by applying the product rule. So that is the okay, so the above one can be written like this: probability of di given h comma xi and probability of xi. So now the probability of di given h comma xi for observing di equals to 1 for a single instance xi, given a world hypothesis, given a world in which hypothesis h holds. The question arises. So for that, let's recall that h is our hypothesis regarding the target function, which computes with this very probability. So therefore, so we can write, okay, this particular the probability can be written as if di is equals to 1, h of xi, and if it is 0, we write it 1 minus h of xi 0. So in order to substitute this equation, okay, in order to substitute this expressions, that the equations 4.5 and the 4.6, okay, so we will get the new equation, okay, so that is the probability of, okay, probability of d given h can be written like this after substituting this. Okay, now we can write expression for the maximum likelihood hypothesis. Okay, the last term is a constant and is independent of h, so it can be dropped. Okay, it can be dropped and you will get the final equation. Okay, so that is this one. Okay, this is a maximum likelihood hypothesis. Okay, so the binomial, the expression on the right hand side of the equation, okay, this equation is actually is the binomial distribution. Okay, so this, the expression in this case, it describes the probability that flipping each of m distinct coins will produce the outcome. Okay, assuming that each coin xi has a probability h of xi of producing the heads. Okay, so this is what it is. So for any points you will not follow, you can listen this video once again. Thank you.